What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this week's video, we're going to be talking about Chris Bumstead having Hani Rambod as his coach going into the Olympia this winter. Some people were saying that he was being sort of secretive about this, but then he released this video with Hani and they kind of expelled all of that nonsense.
So, secret's out. Honestly, you can't even call it a secret.
It's not a secret.
I don't really think they were trying to keep it from anyone. I don't know why you would. Also, there was nothing weird about his split with Ian Valère. Ian, his last coach, is also a competitive bodybuilder that's going to be in the Olympia, and he is in the open class, and he looks phenomenal, and he really has an incredible package, especially this year. And he made the decision to work on himself, and that makes complete sense to me. I would not want to be trying to coach somebody that's at the top of the game while trying to also boost not only my own brand, but make a better physique. And definitely that would be difficult to juggle. So if there was any sort of cloud over Ian leaving, I don't think that there should be, because the guy is just trying to essentially be a better bodybuilder himself. So training Chris at the same time was really not on the table. Another reason that people were saying that the shift to working with Hani might have been a little cloak and dagger was because Hani is with Evogen. You know, the fact that Chris isn't an Evogen athlete seemed, maybe a little out of style for Hani. But look, Chris is as good as it gets. Hani is as good as it gets. So this partnership makes total sense. In fact, I think that Hani's probably the only coach in the game right now that has the chance to make him any better than he is already. Greg Doucette commented on this, and I really liked what he said. He essentially said that Chris could, at this point, go to the Olympia without a coach and still be winning. In fact, he could have done that a couple of years ago, just due to his own drive and his own phenomenal genetics, and he knows the sport. So to say that like the coach that he has matters a ton is kind of stupid. I mean, it does not matter that much. Although, if I were him, I would rather Hani than anyone else in my court. I love the way that Hani trains. If you guys have not watched Hani train, you have to go watch videos of him train. He really, really does know what he's doing. There's a reason he has so many Olympia title wins. But yeah, I don't think that Hani cares that Chris isn't sponsored with Evogen. Chris has kind of been pursuing his own thing at his level, and with the pull that he has on social media, I don't think anyone would be surprised that Chris isn't really trying to work with any supplement companies or brands right now but his own. I mean, he has so much pull. He could create really any number of fitness brands or supplement brands that he wants at this point, and we're kind of seeing him do that. And if I were Chris, I would do the same thing. I mean, who knows how many Olympias he's going to try to win. I don't think it would be realistic to think that he would be doing this for the next decade. I'm sure he himself is looking at it that way as well. Although I'm sure he could win into his mid and late 30s. If I were him, I would be thinking about, how can I build this brand? How can I start to make passive income without having to be on stage every year? Obviously, it's really cool to see him do that. And hopefully, as people become more excited about the Olympia and more excited about bodybuilding, and it becomes kind of a less niche sport, hopefully there's more guys like Chris that step forward. And that's one of the cool things about him, is that he's forging the way in this sport for a lot of young guys that want to be just like him and kind of carry the sport like that. So hopefully, I would think he's thinking at this point he can step back, hopefully someday, some year, and have a supplement brand or a clothing brand or something that'll carry him. So it's not surprising to me that Hani doesn't really care about the sponsorship nonsense. Let's talk about Chris right now, just since we're on the subject, and the insanity of his physique. He posts on Instagram a lot, and he is looking absolutely massive right now. He's looking bigger than he ever has. I'm not quite sure what his weight is right now as he's getting down to the last couple weeks here. The thickness that we're seeing in the muscle density is just, it's beyond anything that it's been years prior to this. I definitely don't see him losing. Here's a good shot of him and Hani working together. But this does have some people asking. This partnership with Hani has some people wondering, could he go to open? I think that's it's a stretch, just because of, again, speaking of his history with Classic and kind of what he's made the sport through competing in Classic. I don't know if that's going to help his brand to go to open, but there are people saying he has the size, and that is saying something, to look at this guy and say, oh, I think he could hop into the open class and just start competing with the big boys, because he is freaking huge right now. And Hani would be a great coach to have if you're going to go into, working with the big boys. So crazy stuff to think about. Awesome stuff coming this Olympia. I want to talk more about Ramon Dino at some point. He's my favorite competitor coming into Classic at the Olympia this year. Again, Don't think he has much of a chance against Chris, but I really am excited to see what happens at the levels below Chris, second and third place, who's on this podium. I think Dino is bringing an incredible package this year. I just love his symmetry and the look that he's got coming. So exciting stuff. Stay tuned. I like doing fitness news stuff. I don't see myself not throwing more of this stuff onto my channel. Easy content to create. Guys, I got a lot going on in my personal life right now. It's really tough to continue to post consistently. I'm so happy that some of you guys have really responded well to my fitness news stuff and my natty or nots. This is a lot easier content to make just sitting here in my house with the camera, and not as complex, but this is the way life goes. The channel's still growing, and I'm really excited about this channel, so I'm going to keep posting every Friday. My name is Mike McCord, and I'll see you guys next week.